Today, as the public learned that the AIG bonuses were not new. They first came to the attention of the Bush administration last September, and apparently Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, well, he knew about them last week. The president had promised to address the issue of executive compensation, but administration officials still appeared on the Sunday shows last weekend and feigned outrage, pretending that they had just learned about this entire debacle.
We're the first people to be angry, so absolutely Secretary Geithner has been furious.
George, look, there are a lot of terrible things that have happened in the last 18 months, but what's happened at AIG is the most outrageous. What that company did, the way it was not regulated, the way no one was watching, what's proved necessary, it is outrageous.
And White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs got hammered by the press corps about this earlier today at his daily spin session.
Secretary Geithner learned about the bonuses, I suppose, Wednesday of last week or around then. Can you walk us through what members of your administration learned about the bonuses and when they learned about it?
I don't have a particular TikTok in front of me.
Clearly, somebody dropped the ball. Somebody didn't tell Secretary Geithner about this, or Secretary...
Let's also understand that these are contracts that existed, as I understand it, and I prefaced this yesterday by not surprisingly telling you I'm not a contracts lawyer.
Why didn't you know about it until last week?
Well, again, I will check on some exact TikTok.
You said you haven't talked to the president yet about when he learned about these bonuses. Could I just put in a request that you ask him when he learned?
I will write that down.
Sure. First of all, why haven't you asked the president when he learned about this?
There are a lot of questions I haven't asked the president.
All right, and joining, I don't know whether to laugh or cry, joining us tonight is a man who has been against the AIG bailout since the very beginning, Senator John McCain. Senator, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Senator, 73 AIG employees as a result of these bonuses that we paid for, forget about we, the American taxpayers paid for, they became millionaires as a result of these bonuses. In one particular case, a so-called retention bonus of $4.5 million for a guy that didn't even stay on the job. And the Washington Post is pointing out today that we knew about all of this last year, so why are they feigning outrage?
I don't know, but I will say again, if we hadn't bailed them out, then they would have gone bankrupt, and all of this stuff would have been the subject of the courts and reorganization. Instead, we poured how many billion dollars into this failing institution, and now we have everybody scrambling around. It is incredible that the Treasury Secretary knew about these bonuses and didn't tell anybody, or certainly Congress was not informed.
Well, and I think this is a very major point here. Now, I pointed out, I found a New York Times article. We discussed this a little bit last night. November 2008, Timothy Geithner, he was the guy, they claimed, the New York Times, hardly the vast right-wing conspiracy, they claim he was the guy that put all of this together. And I think it raises a question we'll be debating in our next segment. Should Timothy Geithner be fired?
I think it's too early because we need to find out all the facts. But the reality is, when we decided to bail them out, then we decided to invest. It was the tar baby. What's this? The fourth package that they've gotten of tens of billions of dollars. Again, I forgot. You can give the number later on. I think it's 120 billion. It's unbelievable. And 165, and there was a provision, I'm told, that was attempted by Senators Wyden and Snowe to limit executive compensation, and that was killed. But look, it also means when you do these massive bills that nobody reads for weeks and even months, then you're going to get all kinds of stuff going on, including protectionism and starting a trade war with Mexico, which we did on the spending bill.
Senator, I don't know whether to laugh or cry, as we've lost $11 trillion of wealth in this country, and you're telling us, as a prominent senator, we have bills and nobody reads them. It's mind-numbing. It's like trying to go to school. I find it mind-numbing, Senator.
I was on the floor. There was a, I think, 800-page package on one side and 1,100-page package, all the bill that we were voting on and passing, which nobody read. We'll be finding out stuff that was in it, as I mentioned to you, for months. It was full of not only pork, but policy changes. This trade war we're starting with Mexico, Buy America in the last one. Protectionism is on the rise, and our friends and allies around the world won't like it.
You know, if I could think of one positive outcome that may be a result of all of this as the American people focus their attention on it, is maybe this will end bailout mania. One of the things that AIG did with the money, and maybe you can explain how this is possible, but $20 billion of our taxpayer dollars went to bail out European banks, Senator. Did you see that in the Wall Street Journal?
I saw that European banks were bailed out with American taxpayers' dollars. That's the real outrage here. Frankly, in many respects, it's far more of an outrage than the, $100 and some million in executive compensation. $20 billion to foreign banks.
Yeah. Let me ask you,
you can't make it up.
In retrospect, you know, and I would argue this was probably just bad luck, bad timing for you and your presidential campaign, and you suspended the campaign and you were criticized for it. You did support the original TARP plan. That was supposed to solve all these problems. In retrospect, do you regret it at all?
Well, I regret very much the way TARP was mishandled, but I suspended my campaign because Americans had just lost $1.2 trillion in the stock market in a 700-point plummet. I had to come back and do what I think is right when America's economy is in deep trouble, and we were told that if we did not vote for that America's economy would collapse. Now, I think there wasn't so much the vote for it, and I opposed any since then, obviously, but I think the key to this is the way that it was terribly mishandled.
Let me just shift gears, because we're going to debate whether or not Tim Geithner should be fired in a second here. I have two national securities. I'll fold it into one to make it easier for you. Number one is the proposal that the administration would have wounded warriors have to pay for their own health care. And secondly, as I look at the Obama mission in Afghanistan, I've got to wonder, it looks like the Bush plan as far as I can tell. Any thoughts or comments? Do you see the same similarities as I do?
First of all, on wounded warriors, that's not going to happen, and I'm confident that Congress will act if anything like that is proposed. On Afghanistan, there's a big debate going on within the administration right now. On the one side, there's the minimalist, do what you can and get out, sort of like the strategy we employed in Iraq before General Petraeus and the surge strategy. And then there's the others that know you got to go in, you got to secure, it's going to be long and hard and tough. But the second route is the only one that will succeed.
All right, Senator, thank you for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it.